Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cohn Zone. We are the Cohns wearing glasses. Glasses Cohn. Grant Cohn, Lowell Cohn. We have breaking news today. Richard Sherman has been arrested. Hasn't been charged with anything, but there's two different investigations going on. A hit and run with the possible DUI and what they're calling burglary, domestic violence. My dad has a lot to say about it, but real quick, I'm just going to catch everyone up on the facts of the case as they've been presented by the police department. So apparently they were notified by someone, the in-laws or whomever, that Richard Sherman was going to be driving from his house to his ex-wife's in-laws. Apparently he got divorced or he separated. So he makes his way there around 1 a.m, hits a concrete something or other on an off-ramp, really hurts his car, hurts the concrete thing, doesn't report it, parks the car, goes to the house anyway, bangs on the door, doesn't get let in. Cops come. He tries to walk away. They take him down with a canine. He gets a laceration on his leg, goes to the hospital. He's okay. He's in jail now, and they're booking him on DUI, hit and run, domestic violence with burglary. Apparently, he did not. The police department said he didn't hit anyone. That's what we know so far.
And also, he's going to appear before a judge Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, and apparently, again, these were the in-laws of his apparent ex-wife, and she made a statement saying no one was injured. He's a good guy. This is out of his character. That's what she said.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for summarizing it so well, Iggy. Mm-hmm. So let's do this. Just basically, guy to guy, person to person, girl to guy, girl to girl, what do you think of what you've heard about this?
It's tragic. It's a very sad story. It sounds like, at the very least, what happened was extremely self-destructive. I don't know if he was trying to hurt someone or if this is a misunderstanding, but he really hurt himself.
Yes. Okay, interesting. And we'll get into this more later. From his point of view, it is tragic.
Yes.
Not from mine. I don't have any commitment to him. I've never met him. But from his point of view and his family's point of view, yes, it is tragic. And, part of the thing in tragedy that a person has a great fall. Well, this is his fall.
Big time. I mean, he was a great story. He grew up in Compton. He was a 5th round pick. He wasn't supposed to be anything special. And he worked his way into an illustrious career and a lot of money, and people looked at him as being a good example of people who worked hard and did it the right way.
He also went to
Stanford. Yeah, he went to Stanford. Very smart guy, and he looked like he had a lot of potential after football to do whatever he wanted.
And he may still. Iggy and I have to say up top, we're going to say everything we're saying is reportedly, allegedly, or our opinion. There are police who know a lot more than we do, and maybe some reporters do as well. Mm-hmm. Okay, my next question, it's a football question.
Yes.
Iggy, where do you think his career is right now?
I think it was over before this happened. I think it's over now. This would have to all go away, and he would have to show that he's a better athlete than he was last year. But that aside, this would have to all go away. And perhaps the stuff about the domestic burglaries, maybe those charges will go away since he didn't hurt anyone or get in the house and it's family. But I don't know if, resisting arrest will go away or the DUI or the hit and run. It seems like those ones are tough. And if he were 23 and an all-pro, teams wouldn't probably care. But he's not. He's 33 and he's slow. And I think that that's a big deal. I'm guessing right now it looks like he's not going to play again.
I would even add something else to what you said. It's possible that this whole thing resulted from his frustration that his career may be over.
That's absolutely true.
I don't know the guy, but you think about it, right? He must be in a very vulnerable place right now, Iggy, because I don't think there's been any action for him. I haven't heard that he's going to a team.
No, absolutely not. So maybe, you've heard about this, right? That life after football is very difficult, and you go from having a purpose and being someone to losing your identity.
Iggy, you know what the athletes call it? They call it the little death.
Wow. Le Petit Mort.
Little death. because you're no longer yourself anymore. You're not that athlete. It's
Yeah.
called little death. I've heard it a million times.
Yeah, and look, the police department called it his ex-wife's in-laws. She apparently just tweeted that they're not divorced. I don't know what's going on. It sounds like maybe they're separated for now, and maybe he was upset and she's over there and he wanted to go and talk, and who knows? But it does sound like we don't know. But it sounds like his life is like it's, I don't know. They also put him in a protective order, like they're almost worried that he's a danger to himself. Maybe he is a danger to himself right now.
I hope not.
Yeah.
When you say hit and run, let's be clear. He fled the scene of an accident.
He fled the scene of a major accident.
Yeah.
Now, it only involved him, but I think he like probably totaled his car and really damaged public property.
Okay.
While he was inebriated.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
So one other thing, allegedly inebriated. So one other thing, probably does not have much future in the league, although we don't know the future. But I'll tell you one thing: he's through with the 49ers. They won't touch him.
No.
You agree?
Yeah. It's not worth it.
They don't need him.
They don't need him.
They can get younger players just as good or better, and they don't. In the Bay Area, these people, for the right reasons, take these things seriously. And I don't think the Niners, they're so image conscious, would touch him anymore.
I don't think so either. And, we've talked about this general topic before. You've been telling me since I was a kid that, you just don't know these people. And people are saying like, we gotta hear more. We need more information to come out because this is just so out of character for Richard Sherman, as if we know his character.
That's right. That's a wonderful point you're bringing up. It's out of character. Let's say Joe Blow says it's out of character. How do you know his character? How long have you sat down with him?
Right.
We assume, not we, fans assume you know their character because they're heroes for you and you admire them, and you invest many of your good qualities in them, but they may not have those good qualities. And I've said this before, and I've said this to Iggy his whole life. I don't become friends with the people I cover. I don't, because I don't know them. Ira Miller said, we're lucky to know 15% about these people. And this means people I like, Ronnie Lott, Dusty Baker, Steve Young. These are people I know forever and like, but we're not friends. I mean, Dusty doesn't, as much as I care for Dusty, he doesn't come to my house. I don't go to his house. He doesn't call me up. We don't have dinner together. There's a difference between that and friends.
And so what fans perceive as character is just image.
Totally. It's image that you see on the field or on the court that they establish with the media or that fans project on them. But it often has nothing to do with reality. Often.
And Richard Sherman has worked very hard to craft his image the way he wants to. He's been working on it for a decade. It's part of what he's really good at. And I think that's why people are so shocked, because this is so counter to the image that he has portrayed and that they have projected onto him. It's not in character for him. But we don't, again, you only know the character. You don't know who he is. We don't know if he's a good person or a bad person. We know nothing. We just know the limited facts that have been presented by the police department, and we should take that with a grain of salt because we haven't heard his side of the story yet.
Right. But clearly, if he's guilty of these things, if he's guilty of these alleged charges, it's in his character because he did it.
That's the thing for people to say, like his wife to say, because clearly he did something out of the norm. She even said in her statement, he's a good person and this is not his character. Well, he did something out of the norm, but what you'd have to say is apparently this is his character. If he did it,
it's part of his character. He did.
That's the difference between Jews and Christians right there. Jews are all about your actions. If you do something, that says something about you. But Christians is always confession, and that wasn't me, and I can go and talk to God, and we can settle it. We can settle the score. Nothing against Christians. It's just I'm always fascinated by the differences between two religions that are basically exactly the same.
Now, and don't get angry at Iggy because his mother is Christian.
I am. She's Catholic.
His family that I was marrying out.
I'm the intersection of Catholicism and Judaism. I went to Catholic high school.
He went
anyway. Yeah, Jews would say if you did something like this, this is a mark of this defines your character. Just
it defines your character.
Defines your character.
It's a here and now religion. What did you do? And if you did this, you got to apologize to the guy upstairs on Yom Kippur.
You know, they say that it's not the real me. That wasn't the real me.
Yeah.
No concept of that in Judaism.
Yeah. If you did it, it's the real you.
It's the real you.
Coming back to Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
Say, oh, he's not like that. Well, he did it. So at least it's at least a section of the real him. Because I haven't been breaking into any houses lately, Iggy.
Apparently he was beating down the door of some old people. I mean, in-laws, people in their 60s and 70s. That's a Bruce Miller type of look. What went on there?
And probably they were very frightened.
I would think they were freaked out.
So let's remember this.
Yeah.
If this alleged event happened, you think of it from, oh boy, Richard, it's ruined his career.
It's all about Richard. Yeah, so tragic.
The poor people.
What about the old people who were scared? Yeah. Yeah. Oof, terrible story. EJ says, a while back, Richard Sherman's quote-unquote agent said his client had plenty of interest, LOL. Yeah, I don't think that's still the case. Brandon says, Lowell, how, if at all, does this reflect on Stanford?
Say that again.
How, if at all, does this reflect on Stanford?
I don't think it reflects on Stanford at all.
I don't think so. No,
I'm sorry to say that. You know, I got to tell you, I graduated from Stanford in 1972, so I have not been associated with Stanford, although I did teach there for a while, but I have not been associated for decades with Stanford. But I love Stanford, and I came into my own at Stanford. I don't think Stanford is responsible for people who graduate and are grown-ups on their own.
No. The takeaway I have from this has nothing to do with Stanford. It's one of two things. Either Richard Sherman was this kind of person all along and we were fooled, or this is a story of what happens to certain athletes when the little death happens and their career ends and they go from being a celebrity with an identity to a normal person again. Maybe it's tough.
Right. Or a third option is we don't know what the hell happened and what the hell was motivating him.
We don't know what the hell happened. That's probably the most likely option. We don't know what the hell happened. New information comes out every couple of hours. We're doing our best to deal with it. It's important to note, though, that he didn't hit anyone and that he may not be a monster. This could be more nuanced than that.
Right. He may be a very nice person who temporarily lost his mind.
And
he was drunk.
Seems like it. Yes.
Yeah. I got some more.
Okay.
I got a list here, guys.
Sure.
So hold on.
Sure.
Now, this is the thing about journalism, and I got to tell you, I have a chapter in my book, Gloves Off. You know, if you would buy my book, it would make me very happy. It would make my day. And did you hear
it's on Amazon, Gloves Off by Lowell Cohn. It's the best book you'll ever read.
Probably. It's
probably top
probably.
5.
Okay. So I have a whole chapter about this. From a commentator's, don't even pay attention, Iggy. From a commentator's point of view, meaning columnist like I was, or Iggy, who is a media commentator. Very often, negative news happens.
Yes.
Today is a perfect example. Negative news about Richard Sherman. Now, a fan might think, oh my God, I thought so much of Richard. This ruins my day. I got to tell you, we don't think that way.
No.
Now, we don't want bad things to happen to athletes. We're not we're nice.
No.
But when it happens, it's an opportunity. Iggy, would you agree?
Oh, man. I mean, my hits are so low in July because it's the dead period. Nothing's going on. And when this happened around 8:30 this morning, one of my first thoughts was, well, I'm going to have a great day. Another thing I thought, and this I feel guilty about too, was at least this happened today and not this weekend when I'm on vacation. Sorry. At least it happened today. Because if this had happened on Saturday, I would have had to be like, look, Swasti, I got to go back to the hotel and do some streaming. And, there would have been, she would hate me and it would ruin the anniversary. So if it had to happen, thank goodness it happened today. I know it's terrible, right?
But we think differently from.
It's a traumatic event for certain people in the world. And I'm thinking, thank you for the timing, God.
Yes.
Yes.
Iggy, so you feel the same way I do. So please explain it again. We were not sitting around saying, gee, we hope Richard Sherman has a DUI and allegedly tries to break into a home. We weren't thinking about Richard Sherman. We don't want anything bad to happen to him.
No.
On the other hand, when it happened, from a commentator's point of view, now you got something to talk about.
Exactly. It went from, boy, we don't know exactly what we're going to talk about in our show today, but we'll figure it out, to, okay, I guess we have our show.
That's what we said to each other.
Yeah.
He called me this morning, and I saw it was him, and I said, boy, do we have a show today.
I know, and it sounds crass, and it's just the way media works. I mean, it's not like we're supposed to be here and, be emotional about it and say, well, let's cover other stuff. Nah, we got to cover the big news. We didn't know there was going to be a big news. I often think of what my job is like fishing. And sometimes it's tough to get a fish on a line. Today, like, the fish are jumping into the boat, and you just have to keep them in the boat. And it's not my fault. I didn't make the fish jump out of the boat. Richard Sherman made the fish jump out of the boat today. And my job is to catch the fish. I have to catch the fish. Otherwise, someone else is going to be the fisherman. That's the way I look at it.
And you want to be the fisherman.
I want to be the fisherman. Anyway.
Have you ever gone fishing in your whole life?
Yeah, with you. We went fly fishing when I was about 10. You broke your rod within 5 minutes. I spent a lot of time doing this, catching nothing. And that was fly fishing. Good time.
I broke it within 5 minutes.
You stepped on it.
I did.
It was like a Jerry Seinfeld thing to do. Like, well, I didn't want to do this anyway. Goodbye.
Don't answer. I got more things to say.
Okay.
So make them wait.
Yes.
I don't
want to go anywhere.
Okay. I don't like when you look down there.
So, okay. Here we go.
Okay. Okay. I want to clarify something else. I said I don't want anything bad in general to happen to the athletes. Let's talk about Sherman today. I don't walk around thinking I don't want anything bad to happen to Richard, but I don't particularly want anything good to happen for him. I'm Richard Sherman neutral. Yeah. Now I have an interest in what's going on, but as fans, you may think, gee, I hope Richard gets a job. I hope he's happily married.
Yeah, that's the thing that I don't get. When people just really treat an athlete like they're part of the family.
Right.
Why are you so concerned with his life? What about your life? What about your brother's life? Why? You know what I mean?
Oh,
so it's like, sometimes, like, when a certain athlete has been dead for a few years and they say, like, and I still I'm so upset about this. Like, what about your own grandmother or something like that? It seems like people over empathize with people they don't know.
That's how I feel.
Yes.
So again,
why is your sympathy not going to the in-laws who were apparently victims of this situation?
Exactly.
Because they're not famous? Because you don't know them? You never met them? You don't know their names, their faces?
Yeah.
Just saying.
So I think what Grant and I are saying is we're emotionally neutral about these people. Now, I occasionally I have felt things. I was at Steve Young's last game when Aeneas Williams gave him a concussion, and I knew Steve so well, and I did feel very bad. There are exceptions. I felt very bad about that. I did for a while. You know what I mean? And then he got on with his life, and I got on with my life. Yeah. But for the most part, I'm totally neutral.
And again, we're neutral to the sense where, like, we're coming on here not being like, they should throw the book at Richard Sherman. He's wrong. He's like, well, if he did it, he did it. If he didn't, he didn't. We don't know.
And we're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
Be patient, like grown-ups, and find out. By the way, Iggy, my guess is he's not going to get in as much trouble as you think. Gut feeling, but that's my guess. Yeah, my gut feeling is probably the domestic burglary violence charges won't stick, and what will stick is DUI if he failed a sobriety thing, resisting arrest, although maybe even not that, and hitting the divider. Those things. Yeah. So I mean, those are serious, but I mean that's probably maybe not a felony. Well, these things are felonies. Okay. I read this, about the article here. They're felonies. Iggy, another thing is, and again, the law is so fickle. It happened in the Seattle area. He's a hero up there. See, that's the thing. Is he a hero up there? They burned his jersey when he left. And he played for the Niners the last 3 years. He went off on bad terms. I actually was kind of wondering, like, they don't like him up there. And I was wondering, like, is that maybe if he's wronged here and it's not as bad as it seems, maybe he should leave Washington to the state of or Seattle. Maybe it's not a friendly place for him. I'm just wondering. Maybe he needs a change of venue if there's a trial. Yeah, perhaps. I'm just saying. It's funny that you said that he's loved up there. I think it's actually the opposite. So okay, you see, I don't know. To be corrected. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't live up there. Maybe they like him up there. I got one more question. But
real quick, before we move on, Sean has something to say about your book. I bought 4 books, gave 3 away. It's exactly like Star Wars, except different. Love it. People do things out of character when drunk. Anyway, appreciate your work. Thanks for buying all those, Sean.
You made my day.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, you have one more thing you want to say.
I do. I was watching Schefter this morning talking about it. Now, I want to, real quick, Adam Schefter is terrific. Mm-hmm. He is a wonderful reporter. He is really connected. He's ethical, although he loused up Iggy 2 weeks ago. But I don't blame Adam for that.
No.
The news evolved, and someone from the Niners must have spoke to him and said he had something wrong, and we had to catch up with that.
Yes.
In addition, I don't think he probably even knows me, but I had lunch with him one time because Ira Miller went to Penn State with his parents. And one time when the Niners were playing in Denver, he invited Adam to have, he was very young at the time, to have lunch with us. And I thought he was just terrific. So, Adam, all praise to you. But there was something that caught my attention this morning. A woman, don't know who, was interviewing you, and you were talking about what you knew about, Richard Sherman. And you did a beautiful job, except one thing. You said, I spoke to the 49ers, and this is what they said. Now, had I been interviewing you, because I used to be a real journalist, I don't know who this woman is, I would have said, could we slow down a minute, Adam, when you say you spoke to the 49ers, whom did you talk to?
Right.
Now, I don't want people to violate their sources. If someone wants to be anonymous, I understand that. But I'm a journalist. I also, when you say you talk to the 49ers, who do you talk to?
And this isn't gossip. This is public record. This is serious.
Public record. This is very serious.
Yeah.
And anyone from the Niners should really not mind to have his name associated with a discussion of this.
No.
So if Adam said, Lowell, it's a private source and I don't want to divulge, I would say fair enough, but I had to ask.
Yes.
But I had to ask.
Yes.
So it leads me, because I'm not going to call him and ask him, to wonder, who in the heck was he talking to?
Right.
Was he talking to Jed? Was he talking to Lynch? Was he talking to Shanahan? When they say I spoke to the 49ers, there wasn't a chorus there. No. It was somebody, right?
Yes. It was definitely somebody. They have a new PR director. Could have been him, but I don't know.
Oh, boy, I doubt it.
Yeah. It's a little bit above his pay grade.
God, I doubt it.
Yeah.
Plus, he never worked with Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
The new one.
Yeah.
Right? He just came in.
Yes.
Anyway, it's a side note, and it's only something that a journalist would notice. But Iggy, if someone said to you, I spoke to the 49ers, wouldn't it immediately say who?
Who? Yeah. I'd like to know who. How do they? Yeah. It's important information.
And you know why I think he's smart. He fudged over it. He didn't say I spoke to so-and-so because obviously he's getting other things from that person.
Yes, absolutely.
You would agree, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Having said all that, Adam, I probably would not have told if anyone asked me that question, but I would have respected it. I certainly would have respected the question, and I certainly respect you.
Yes. Okay. Well, is there anything else you want to add to this bad story?
No, I think we did it. And Iggy, I think we did a professional, fair-minded job.
I think we did as well. I think some people in the comment section are a little upset and want us to give them the benefit of the doubt, but that's not our job. Our job is to be neutral and to address the facts of the case as they come in.
Iggy, why should I give him the benefit of the doubt? I'm going to be real clear.
Yeah.
Who the hell is he to me?
Yeah.
That I should give him the benefit of the doubt. Why does he deserve the benefit of the doubt? If he didn't do certain things, nothing would have happened.
Right.
There would be no story. We'd be talking about the birds in the trees today. You know what I mean? So no, I am absolutely not inclined to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I'd be a schmuck if I did.
Right. So we're not condemning him, but we're not absolving him either. We're just talking about the facts, and they're not good.
And the possible implications.
Okay. Should we move on?
Yes, I have another topic.
All right.
I'm the boss today.
Okay.
I have another topic. As all of you know, Iggy did an interview last week with Jimmy Ward. And very often I do not watch Iggy stuff live because he puts 5 things on a day. And I'd like to have my own life. Fair enough?
Yeah.
But when his mom and I knew that he was doing the Jimmy Ward, and I wanted to watch it mostly because I wanted to see how Iggy handled it. I was more interested in how Iggy does journalism and interviews than in Jimmy Ward, although Jimmy Ward is a phenomenally interesting person. Now, again, I got to apply the same standards. I was favorably impressed with Jimmy Ward. Would I make a statement that he's a great guy for life? Who knows?
We don't know.
Richard Sherman was. So
right.
All I know about Jimmy Ward is what I saw that day, and he was delightful. Beyond that, I'm not prepared to say that about anybody, but maybe 10 people.
You're not making any character judgments based off an hour interview.
Absolutely not.
No.
So here's what I want to say. What I want to praise Iggy about. First of all, when you do an interview, you got to get a really good subject. Mm-hmm. If you get someone who's monosyllabic or hostile, it's not going to work.
No.
Kaepernick.
Oh, yeah.
It would be
impossible
to try. Yeah. Well, he would never do it, but it would be nuts to try to get him. And, you know, Iggy, when I was working, if I had one of those and it was clear it was going to be like that, I very pleasantly would say, you know, this isn't working. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you around. Oh, yeah. I did any number of interviews like that.
Yeah, we don't need to do this. Yeah.
Don't need to do it.
No.
And he's miserable. I'm miserable. So that's it. So first of all, Iggy got a wonderful, we'll call it a subject. Okay. He got a wonderful subject who is Jimmy. I got my notes here because I wrote them down. Now, his job as the interviewer was to bring Jimmy out, was to let Jimmy emerge. The way I look at it is I think of a flower that the petals are all bunched up and the sun shines on them in late morning and the petals open up.
Yes.
And it smells great and you look in, it's so beautiful. And what you as an interviewer are and what Iggy was, he was the sun. Do you see what I'm saying, Iggy?
Yes.
Iggy was the sun that created the environment for this lovely person to flower. And Iggy, when it happens, it feels like a miracle, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. But at the get, like, it felt so easy. I mean, my first question was, how'd you get into football? And he was like, well, it all started with cheese fries. I was like, man, this is easy. This guy's great.
That's great. Right.
And what I also noticed was he wanted to curse. And he was being respectful of my platform and Sports Illustrated and holding himself back. And I said, go for it, Jimmy. And from that point out, that helped him be as relaxed as I think he could be. And from that, I thought from that point out, it was great. Yes.
And this relates to another point I want to make. As the interviewer, you want to say as little as possible.
Yes.
When I used to transcribe tapes of things because remember, I wasn't video, I was words. And if I saw too many Lowell words, I would be angry at myself. Mm-hmm. The idea is to shut up and just be the sun and let this person emerge and flower. If you talk too much, you'll shut him down. And who cares about your story? The whole thing was about Jimmy, not about Iggy. Would you agree?
Yes.
So, and you, Iggy, were very quiet. And the only thing you did, again, which is what you need to do, when a topic was talked out, then you would guide them to the next topic. And you were, in fact, extremely prepared. You had you written out your questions?
Yes, of course.
Like in school, right?
Yes, yes. And I had them in banner form over here so they could go across the bottom of the ticker.
I got it.
Yes.
So you would exhaust a topic.
Yes.
They have a natural lifespan, topics, and then you moved on to the next. And he was so happy that he moved, but you were silently guiding the conversation. I.e., I feel in an interview like that, I'm the director, he's the actor. Did you feel like that?
Absolutely. And it was clear early on that I had like freaking,
Al Pacino.
I mean, this is easy. I just have to set him up. And he did great. I thought the best parts of the interview were really a lot of times stuff that I hadn't planned, either tangents that he went on or answers to questions from people in the audience. And every time I would just be like, shut up. Here he goes talking about McVay or Matthew Stafford.
Right. When you say shut up, you mean not
to myself. Shut up. Grant, right. Let him go.
Yeah, like you planned it to go in this direction, but it's going in that direction, and you think, I'll let it go.
Let it go.
Shut up and let it go.
This is gold. Yeah, this is better than what I could have planned, and I can't believe he's taking it here. There was one point where someone said, what do you think of the new safety? The rookie safety, Talanoa Hufanga. I thought, man, he's not going to like this question. This is going to be boring. He goes, oh, yeah, he works out with Troy Polamalu. He gave me Troy's number. Troy wouldn't call me back. That's a good story.
Yeah, why would you call him back?
Because no one knows who Jimmy Ward is. He's the Rodney Dangerfield of safeties. He gets no respect.
Got it.
Yeah. And one more thing. So I've been putting out like more controversial parts, transcribing them and putting out on my website. I transcribed the part where he said that Sean McVay is big-headed and kind of silly and foolish for testing him all the time. And the part where he questioned whether it was right to go from Goff to Stafford. NFL Network picked it up this morning. NFL and it was discussed for 5 minutes. My interview on Good Morning Football on NFL Network this morning, and they said my name, so that was pretty cool.
Hold on, slow down. So they said Grant Cohn interviewed Jimmy Ward.
Yes.
Who were some of the people who were talking?
Peter Schrager, who's like the host, and then Nate Burleson, who used to be a player and is also one of the hosts.
Yes.
And they were talking mostly about is Jimmy Ward right? And they were all like, well, maybe not, but we really like the trash talk. We really like that he's up in the ante, and everyone thought it was really cool. Everyone gave Richard Sherman, Jimmy Ward a lot of pub and FaceTime.
And they said Grant Cohn from Sports Illustrated?
They did.
I'm glad about that because that's another place that wouldn't give you the time of day.
Yeah, that's true. So now they are.
So now it's daytime over there.
Daytime, yeah. First thing in the morning, they mentioned me. So that was cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. Hold on. Let me see if I've got any more. There's two other things.
Mm-hmm.
When you're interviewing someone, and Iggy, you did this, and you're enthusiastic, you smile, you laugh, you got to mean it.
Yes.
Because if you're phony, they'll know it.
Yes.
And what I learned over my life, I am really interested in other people.
Yes.
I'm not the kind of ego where it has to be about me, although sometimes it does.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not that self-facing. But in an interview, I am sincerely interested in the subject, i.e. that person. And Iggy, you were with him, and it came through, to him, and he felt safe in your environment.
Yes. And it seemed like he was somewhat appreciative because I feel like where he's coming from is no one in the media has ever really given him the time of day yet in 10 years of a career. And he was grateful to at least have an hour to talk about himself.
And he ended it by saying that don't stop being an asshole. Is that what he said?
Keep being an asshole. Yeah.
Keep being an asshole.
Yeah.
And I thought about that a lot. Again, we were English majors. You think about all the implications. He was joking, and
yes.
he used asshole as an affectionate word.
Yes.
But he also meant you're an asshole.
Yes. And he also meant don't stop being yourself just because I gave you this interview. Keep going. You don't have to be nice to me just because I didn't come on here to get you to be nice to me. I genuinely don't care if you criticize me or praise me. Although it seems like he appreciates the praise, but he also doesn't. He likes the challenge. He made that clear too.
Yes.
And I like that about him.
Iggy, we've known people like that. Harbaugh's like that.
Yes.
He doesn't take it personally.
John Lynch doesn't take it personally.
Steve Young.
No. The best athletes don't take it personally. They take it as an opportunity to prove someone wrong. And they do that for a living. They've been doing it their whole lives.
Jeffrey Leonard was like that when he was with the Giants. The more I criticized him, the more he liked me. And we ended up, again, I don't become friends, but we ended up becoming quite affectionate toward each other.
What I've kind of noticed is most of the time, if our job is to criticize athletes. If we do it and an athlete objects to it verbally, that's a bad sign. To me, that's a sign that you can't prove me wrong on the field and you have to argue about it. You shouldn't use your words. Just prove me wrong. Do what Jimmy Ward does. So usually, the guys who object verbally are the guys who aren't going to make it. And the guys who take it in stride and just prove you wrong and give you a look afterwards are the ones you respect and remember the rest of your lives.
And you'll praise them.
Absolutely.
They proved you wrong.
Like we're really more of a test. We're just the weather. Can you handle a blizzard? Because we're going to bring it hard. And some guys are built for it and some aren't. I'm not going to say names, but you already know.
I know hundreds in each category.
Yeah.
Dealt with it my whole adult life. Okay.
And that's, I think, one thing what Jimmy Ward said. Someone asked, like, what do the other people think? And he's like, well, if you piss them off sometimes, that's on them. That's between them. It's like, did he hit you where it hurts? Did he hit you in a vulnerable spot or is he totally wrong? And if so, why do you care? There were two things that really impressed me about Jimmy. There were many. One, what a delightful sense of humor he has. Yeah.
Delightful. The other is, Iggy, he is really smart.
Extremely.
Oh,
Extremely.
he
Football players in general, but he's like at the smartest. Richard Sherman gets all this credit because he went to Stanford. This guy's just as smart.
I would say my guess is he's at the Richard Sherman level.
Yeah.
Listening to him, his ability to analyze things was phenomenal, and he's so subtle in the way he thinks. Iggy, I would love to have covered him.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
I would love to have covered him. What a blast.
Yeah. Swan Song says, Daddy Cohn, how was covering Will Clark? Sorry, it's coming up in a second. How was covering Will Clark?
Oh, that's so interesting. At first, he was very difficult. He was pugnacious. I don't mean hitting, nothing like that. He was pugnacious and always looking for an argument. One time, he was a rookie, and I walked into the clubhouse before a game. Used to be able to hang out. Now everything you can't. And he was talking to someone at his locker, and he yells out, "Lowell Cohn," and he gave me the finger. Iggy.
Wow.
Finger. So afterward, I went over and I said, "Why'd you give me the finger?" And he goes, "I didn't like what you wrote." I said, I didn't write it. That was the other guy. And he goes, like, he didn't apologize.
Oh.
All right.
You can get it too.
There were other times I would go in there and he would use the F word, F you, Lowell. He would yell. And I got used to it.
Yeah.
And in my book, I don't know if I can tell this. It was his Candlestick. There's a few curse words, but I think we'll be okay, Iggy.
Yeah, go for it. We're allowed to curse on this show. Yeah.
So I can even use the F word?
You can do it. If Jimmy Ward can do it, you can do it.
Okay, I don't want to get you in trouble.
No, I looked at the rules. You're allowed to do it.
Okay, so they were playing a Candlestick. It was a Wednesday day game, and I got there early, and there was always, if I went in the clubhouse, someone's yelling at me. I just thought, who needs it? They'll play the game. I'll write a column. And it was a beautiful morning. The sun didn't come. The wind didn't come up there till 3:00. It was beautiful. So I was sitting on the bench alone in the dugout. They had the tunnel that went from the clubhouse to the dugout. Here comes Will Clark walking out. And I think, oh, man, I was enjoying the morning. Now I got this guy.
Yeah.
So, and he has a bat. And he starts walking back and forth in front of me, just not saying a word. Back and forth in front of me with
stalking
the
his prey
like this, right? Stalking me.
What was he, like 24 years old? 23?
Him?
Yeah, at the time. Will Clark.
Probably, yes.
Must have been a kid. Yeah.
So finally he stands in front of me. He goes, Lowell Cohn, you think you're so fucking smart. That's what he said to me. Iggy, and I looked and I said, Will, I don't think I'm so smart. He goes, yes, you do. And he goes, he went to Mississippi. He goes, and I want to tell you something. When I went to college, I read Shakespeare and all that shit. And Iggy, I knew then that was the greatest quote I'd ever heard from an athlete in my whole life. Shakespeare and all that shit.
It's the first time anyone had ever said Shakespeare and all that shit in the history of the English language.
Right. And
no one had ever done that.
No one had ever done it and never admitted it, right? There were so many of those plays. I like a lot of them. Some I don't. And you had to take it. It was required, for an English major. And you're thinking of Shakespeare. It's a lot of shit. Shakespeare and all that shit. Well, now, there's
actually a class at UCLA, Shakespeare and all that shit.
Shakespeare and all that shit, right? Yeah. Isn't that one?
It's a prereq. You have to take the class in order to graduate.
You got to take it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So now when I see Will, and I haven't seen him in several years because I don't go there anymore, he always gives me a hug and he always says, Lowell, tell me that story. He loves the Shakespeare story.
And it's funny how like the people that you had conflict with when you were 35 and they were 25 are the people that you get the biggest kick out of seeing today a lot of the time.
Will and I get along great. Kuiper, I hope you're okay. Kuiper and I get along great. And we had conflict. And Don Nelson and I get along. Bill Walsh and I got along. The conflict,
Jerry Rice and you get along when you see each other.
Very much so.
Yeah.
The conflict leads through another door.
Right, because you see someone after 20 years and you're like, man, I used to not like this person. I'm not exactly sure why, but that was a long time ago. Look at where we are now. I actually feel affectionate and nostalgic, right?
No question. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, you said you had a bonus topic.
I have a bonus topic. Iggy, this is talk about out of left field, all right?
Okay, all right.
I haven't told Iggy about this, but I was thinking about it this morning. Okay, Iggy, do you ever have any sports dreams?
Oh, all the time. Yes, absolutely.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, I have a whole bunch of dreams I wrote down. Would you care to tell us, or do you want me to go first?
For me, I'm back in high school, and I'm a sophomore, and I'm trying out for varsity baseball because I never made varsity, and I'm going to the spring to like the spring stuff, the fall league stuff, and I'm going in to hit, and I can't touch the ball. Like I can't swing the bat. The ball's really fast, and I'm making a fool of myself, which probably isn't that much different than what happened when I was a kid. That's what I have that stressful dream every once in a while. I do.
And you still currently,
Or I'm running. I'm a kid and I'm running, and I used to be fast, and I can't. I'm like it's like you're underwater and you can't freaking move. That one.
I love it.
Yeah.
The dreams I have, and this what made me, I had it last night,
Mhm.
like journalism sports dreams.
Mhm.
Okay.
Ooh.
My two most recent at the Oakland Coliseum. I had this one last night, and the other one I'm going to tell you a week ago. So last night, I'm at the Oakland Coliseum, and I park in a parking garage. Now, they didn't have a parking garage there. It was a big lot, but I'm in a parking garage. Yeah, it's a dream.
Mhm.
And I decide, what am I doing here? I'm retired for almost 5 years now. I'm going to leave. I don't want to be here. And I can't find my car.
Oh, that's terrible.
And in my dream,
That's like a Kafka thing.
a Kafka thing. Yes,
Yeah.
Franz Kafka. It's interesting you should say that. It is.
Yeah.
And in the dream, I never found the car.
You're stuck.
I was stuck. And because I realized I don't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So I was looking in every part of the parking garage. Some of them were underground. Some of them were in caves. Listen, Iggy, you know what I'm saying?
This is a Seinfeld episode too. Sorry.
It was in caves. And some of them, they were rusted out cars that no one had seen for 40 years. And I never got out of the Oakland Coliseum. Now, a week ago, I had the same thing. I was at the Oakland Coliseum, and I wanted to leave because I'm not a writer anymore. But the Oakland Coliseum was in the woods. And I told my wife, she said, there's no woods around. I said, I know. But in the dream, it was in the woods. And Iggy,
I got woods now.
I got lost in the woods.
Wow.
I
That
did.
is
I got lost in the woods. So I had two those dreams. Now, I got to tell you something.
I got another one. Hold on. I got one more. So I forgot about this. We were not athlete dreams, but sports journalism dreams. I had this one this week, and I have it every couple of months, and I hate it. I'm doing something in a dream, and I'm going along, and then all of a sudden, I look at my phone and I see like it's the second quarter, and the Niners are playing, and I'm like, the Niners have a game today. I'm not covering it. I missed the first half of the game. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to pretend that I saw. I'm going to pretend that I watched the first quarter, pick it up. That's a dream. The Niners are playing, and I didn't know.
It's a nightmare. And plus, if you pretended, people would out you, and your career would be over.
Yeah, no, it's very serious. It's like the
Very
idea that the
serious.
Niners would play a game and I wouldn't know, and I just missed it somehow is, I guess, a nightmare of mine.
I guess you're very motivated to be at the games.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. I'm going to give you some. I love that dream, by the way. I love it. Here are some more of my dreams. I gave you about the woods. Now, in the others, this was while I was working. I would have nightmares. I'd go to the press box and there'd be no seat for me.
Oh,
Have you had that?
no, that's more realistic than you think, though.
And I would say to the PR, there's no seat for me. Sorry, there's no seat for you. Or I would go to an away stadium or an away ballpark, and there would be a seat for me, but it would be facing the wrong way. My back. Or if it was facing the right way, there'd be a wall in front of me and I couldn't see the field.
That was a Looney Tunes episode where someone would get a ticket at Yankee Stadium and he'd be sitting right behind a pillar. Remember that? Yeah, that's.
I had one at the Oakland Coliseum. This was when I was working. And in the dream, they had a little grandstand set up in the parking lot. And I was in the parking lot with my computer, but I wasn't in the stadium and I couldn't see the game. So I had a seat in the parking lot.
Jeez, that's tough. That's tough. Have you ever actually sat down at a laptop and attempted to write a column in a dream?
No. Have you?
No, that would be tough. That would be tough. A lot of times what happens to me in dreams are I'm back in college and I go into a class and I haven't gone to the class all quarter and I'm taking a test and my brain is inventing the test and I'm trying to take the test at the same time. That's a tough one.
I had that in college one time, Iggy. I had a dream that I took a math class. By the way, I never took math in college. We took
Me neither. Me neither.
So it was a math class, and the questions were in Russian.
Oh, that's great. So you actually had the Russian alphabet. Your brain could do that.
That's the Cyrillic alphabet.
You saw enough of that
I saw it. I thought, wow. I don't know math and I don't know Russian. I don't think I'm doing well on this.
Oh,
that was in college.
And you still remember that?
Oh God. Yeah. Okay.
Anything else?
No. Those were my dreams. The one last night, being lost underneath the Oakland Coliseum, trying to find my car, was really upsetting. I have to tell you.
Oh, yeah, that sounds terrible. How long did you spend in the dream searching?
I felt like hours.
Like the whole night? That sucks.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
It's terrible. Yeah. I'm sorry. I feel for you.
Here's what I suggest.
Yes.
People watching, if anybody watching can analyze my dreams for me, I'm open, because I don't know what the hell they mean. And the other is, if any of you have sports dreams that you'd like to share with Iggy and me, Iggy, wouldn't you like to hear it? So if you feel like typing in some stuff in the next few days, what do you think, Iggy?
I would absolutely please put it in the comment section of this video. We'll read it next week. We'd love to hear your interpretations. We'll do that.
I would love that. Yeah, I would really be interested, because I don't know where I'm coming from. I got to tell you.
Before we end the show, Jason has a question. Was Dwight Clark a wide receiver or a tight end? Google says wide receiver.
Oh, he was what? It was no question.
He was very tall, but he was definitely a wide receiver.
Yeah, yes.
Good question.
You know, the tight end was Charlie Young.
That's right.
Right.
And Ronnie Lott was a cornerback at first. Back when I was in 6th grade, I was in a PE class at Montera Middle School, and we were learning football. And the teacher was trying to explain the different positions, and he got to cornerback, and he said, "Who here can name some famous cornerbacks?" And someone said, "Dion." I raised my hand. Uh-oh. Did I lose my dad? Is it me? What happened? My dad's gone. You guys still there? Hello? He's back.
Iggy?
I don't know. You okay?
Yeah, I just went blank.
That's all right.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
You, Ronnie Lott.
Yeah. I said the PE teacher said, "Who can name a famous cornerback?" So everyone said all the famous ones. I raised my hand and said Ronnie Lott, and he said no. Ronnie Lott was a safety, and I was 11, and I was so upset that I went home and told you, and you said, "Well, Ronnie Lott was a cornerback earlier in his career, and you keep the media guides." So you gave me the 1981 media guide and said, "Why don't you take this to your gym class?" So I went back the next day with the 1981 media guide. I was like, "Excuse me, Mr. Peters, you told me yesterday that I was wrong when I said that Ronnie Lott was a cornerback. Here he is in the 1981 media guide listed as a cornerback," and he looked at it and he was like, "Huh." Gotcha. Remember that. Yeah. So thank you, Dad. Because I didn't live through it, but you told me that he started a corner and went to safety.
And then they moved him to safety, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that Jimmy Ward has in common with Ronnie Lott. One of the only safeties who played both cornerback and safety. So good for Jimmy.
When they moved him, I used to talk to Bill Walsh a lot. Bill, this is a paraphrase. I don't remember the exact words, but this is what he meant. He said, we learned with Ronnie, we could do a lot more things with him.
Yeah. That's
what he said. We could do a lot more things with Ronnie.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's actually almost a quote.
Yeah. Also, I think, if you have a great cornerback, wherever he is, you can go away from him. But if you put a guy at safety, he's always in the middle of the action.
Yes.
So, and guy could hit like that, probably could work at safety. Dad, I got to end the show. I got to start another show in 10 minutes, but I got to call you. We got to talk. Real quick.
Hey, listen, I really enjoyed this today. Everybody, we'll see you next week.
Yes, Dad. Thank you. Love you.
Oh, I love you. I love you.
And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I'll be back in 10 minutes if you want to keep talking Niners.
Are you going to